Good afternoon, and everyone. Welcome to the market close for Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. We're here. This is the first show of October, so that's kind of cool. Still a little bit, still surprised that we're in October so fast, but what can I say? What can I say? So we do have a red day on the market, and look at this. I did not change my sign. Oh boy, that's a travesty. That is a travesty. Let's see if I can find the red here. Uh-oh. Purple. Come on, red. Where are you at, red? Oh dear. There we are. There's some red. And we'll uh-oh, no. Get back to the red. There we are. And I'm just gonna pump some more red into it. There we go. There we go. Nice red day on the market. I was filming earlier today, and I had put it on the white for the deep dive that's coming out on Friday on TELUS. So hence the reason I wasn't. I can't. I completely missed that. I just noticed it like quite literally as we started. I'm like, what? It's a red market. Where's the red? We got the red. We got the red. Now today is an interesting day. One is that we have a red market up here, but we do have a green market in the U.S. So there's reasons for that. I think we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, of course, after the good old bell. Before I get into the charts, though, this coming Sunday is the first Sunday of the month. That means we have free memberships. So those of you who are here right now, I want you to, I'm going to drop one right now because we're going to make sure that you guys are all have memberships turned on. All right, it will drop in just a second here. Perfect. So if you see underneath this sign, if you see another box, so where you see the Mountain Finance gifted one, if underneath that there's a second box with a bunch of writing in it and a link, then you don't have it turned on, which means that you cannot win. So when Sunday comes around, I'll be dropping. I usually drop 10 or maybe 11. You're not going to have a chance, unfortunately, unless you turn it on. The other thing is if you're a brand account. So if you have set up your account as a brand account, most of you probably have not done that. Then you're also ineligible for some reason. Google just doesn't want, or YouTube, same thing. They simply just do not allow brand accounts to win. Unfortunately. I think there shouldn't be any of these silly restrictions between just a regular account and a brand account. There's not really any difference. But anyway, that's how it all falls together. And by the way, Ricardo won this time around. So big congratulations to Ricardo. All right. Now, I'm going to get off the YouTube over there because I don't want you guys to have infinite me's here in a second. And we're going to pull that screen up here. All right, here we go. And come on, screen. Where's the screen? All right, let's try this again. What the banana bread? Well, it's a Wednesday. If we're going to have technical issues, a Wednesday seems probably to be the right day to have a technical issue. All right, what the heck is going on here? I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to try to redo it once again. For some reason, it's just not coming through. All right, let's try this one more time. Come on, give us the screen. Seriously? Ooh, wait a minute. All right, I'm going to try it this way. Why is that? It does not want to share. I don't know why. Oh boy, this could be a fun show if I do not have, if I can't share any screens. Wow. Yeah. All right, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm going to try a couple things here. Yeah, okay, so I can move things around. Perfect. Everything appears to be working except for my present. I'm going to try it a different, instead of a whole screen, I'm going to try just a window and see if that will work. That does work. Okay, so I'm not sharing the screen. I'm sharing just this one particular window, but that's fine. That's fine. We now have our market. You can see that we are getting, this is the TSX right here. It is a nice red day. Right now we're down 0.16%, but you can see we do have an end day rally happening. So we've been pumping up on this last hour's candlestick, doing really well. Doing really well. 10 minutes left. Maybe we can get a little higher. I don't think we're going to get out of the red, though. I don't think. I think we're going to stay in the red, but nonetheless, let's take a look down here. This is the S&P 500. It did finish. Well, it's still going, but it's in the green. 0.06. Nasdaq up 0.34. Dow Jones up 0.13. Gold is down. It's down 0.18%. Silver's looking good, up 1.34%. WTI only up 0.21%. Now, those of you yesterday who were watching the market, when we opened the day, WTI was up quite a bit. In fact, funny story, I looked at the charts before I looked at the news, and I saw WTI up yesterday morning, and I'm like, uh-oh. That probably means Israel's rolled into Lebanon. So then I went over to the news, and yeah, that's exactly what had happened. And oil definitely. And if this continues, and if it gets worse over there, expect oil prices to continue to go up because there will be much more disruption of oil being pumped in the Middle East as this all unravels. So let's we'll pay attention to that for sure. Bitcoin is, of course, they're down 1.07%. Not the best day for Bitcoin. Now, they did have a little bit of a rally last night during the vice presidential debate. So, but I think that's because Senator Vance actually performed a little bit better than I think a lot of people were anticipating. He didn't have a bad debate, and that certainly helped more of the crypto-friendly folks. Definitely, a lot of crypto-friendly folks are actually they're kind of in Team Trump. Not so much because it's not even about policy, to be honest. It's mostly because Trump is seen as the more crypto-friendly candidate. So with Vance doing well, that helped Bitcoin a little bit. In fact, you can see some of this green up in here. This is from last night, but you know, it's fun. It's fun. Anyway, Ethereum. Why is this not? For some reason, when it did this, I'm gonna pull this down a bit. There we go. Just give us a bit more screen. For some reason, it shortened it a little bit on me. So I think we're good. All right, let's switch on over to the heat maps. So yeah, we got a little bit of red. You can see it definitely over here in Canada. It seems to have affected a lot. Oh, look at this. Bank of Nova Scotia, Scotiabank down 2.45%. I hate seeing that. Because as you can see, they've been on a tear. But, you know, I just wanted the tear to continue. But they have come down a little bit. So if you're looking for an entry point, maybe we're getting a little bit closer to it. Let's see. TD down, Royal Bank down. National Bank, though, is up. They're still doing good. Let's pull them up. You can see National Bank's been on a tear for a long time. It's not like a super steep tear, but it's a very consistent tear. Yeah, they had a couple of little drops, but definitely doing good. Our railroads both down. CN, CNR, Alimentation Couche-Tard down a big 1.20%. Loblaw's down 2%. Dollarama doing okay because once again, more uncertainty. People are more apt to flock to a place like Dollarama and get some deals. So not too shabby there. All right, let's take a look at the ETFs. ETFs, they're actually not doing too bad. Look at this. VFV is up, but keep in mind, VFV is investing in the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 is in the green. So this makes a lot of sense. Definitely makes a lot of sense. VEE over here up 1.94%. So not too shabby. XEQT is up. VEQT is up a little bit more. So VEQT is beating XEQT today. All right, let's look at the Americans. So we got some green, we got some winners, we got some losers. Nvidia up 1.94%. Apple's up a tiny bit. Microsoft's down a tiny bit. Google and Meta both down. Tesla down 3.83%. Now keep in mind, October is that month of those robo taxis. So we have to see how that is going to work out. So that could be very, very, very interesting. I believe it's the 10th of October. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the chat. But I think it's the 10th of October that those robo taxis are supposed to do their thing. We'll see. We'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, it could be interesting. It could be interesting. Coming over to the crypto map. Oh boy, a lot of red. We got a lot of red. Bitcoin down 0.90, Ethereum down 2.98, Solana down 3.41. Not a lot of green. Not a lot of green. But we can go in here. And there are so many coins that I have never heard of. It's a red day. We're going to choose a green coin. There's 14,000 of these little, I call them crap coins because, most of them don't really have a chance of doing anything important. But let's pick a green one. And hopefully it's not that near protocol. I think I've picked that one 4 days in a row. So I'm going to come in. Let's see, either one of these three. Let's eeny, meeny, miny. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with this one. Maybe this was a bad idea. I'm not sure. But we got bad idea AI. So yeah, look at this. It's worth like a micro penny. I mean, it's worth not very much. Holy banana bread. What was it worth when it actually made a little peek up here? Just slightly less of a micro penny. So I don't know. This is kind of I'm going to assume it's trying to jump on the AI craze, but once again, please never invest in this. If you invest in this, it tells you right in the title. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, yeah. So anyway, this is a coin I will never ever invest in as we look at our world of 14,000 plus bad crypto coins. Stick to the good ones. Stick to your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your Solana, even XRP. All of those are good. These are, oh gosh, just bad ideas. Bad ideas. Okay. Anyway, that was so good, that name, that I swear it probably looks like I scripted it, but I honestly didn't. I'm good at improv. So when something like that pops up, I'm going to run with it. I'm absolutely going to run with it, whether it's a good idea, a bad idea, or somewhere in between. Oh boy, that was fun. I love that. I love that. All right. Let's come back to you guys. Let's hit the chat here. All right. And what time is it? Oh, we only have, because of the technical difficulties, we've only got about a minute and a half to the bell. All right. Ricardo, first in the house with a good afternoon. Anybody got ballsy and decided to take on Humana? I got me 3 shares at 215 at open. Nice. I did not touch it at all. Samar says, good afternoon, all. And Ricardo, that's because Ricardo won a membership, all that fun stuff. All right, I'm just taking a peek here. We have less than 50 seconds. We got Mary in the house. Good afternoon. Be sure, of course, guys, to hit that like button because, Mary will remind you if we don't get enough likes flying on the video. Let's see. Kevin Cass says, good afternoon, gang. And let's see, UEC has been on a monster rampage since I bought more at 478 for a total of 300 shares. Today is sitting at 680. Not too shabby. That's pretty good. That's really, really, really good. Uh-oh. Apparently I'm supposed to be late. Jonathan is saying, hold the bell. I'm holding it. I'm on the way. Well, you have 13 seconds, Jonathan, to get here. Well, technically 10 now. Well, less than 10. But Jonathan, you can always watch it in the replay if you miss it. But I have a feeling I'm behind, so hopefully you are already. Uh-oh. We have a bell. We have a market closed. Woo! Hopefully, Jonathan, you made it. Hopefully, you made it. Really good. Oh, by the way, I am open this week to a Friday chat. So if you guys want a Friday market close, then 4 of those supers, and we get it. Speaking of extra streams, coming up on Monday, we have our 3-year anniversary live stream, and I'm going to be eating some chicken with the bomb on it because, everybody's. I've had a lot of requests after the Hot Ones challenge that I did. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, but it will be a lot of fun. We don't have any particular topic, but I will still, of course, answer questions and save the tough ones. Save your tough questions for after I eat the bomb because I will be suffering. And that would be funny, watching me suffer and try to answer hard questions. So bring the hard ones for that moment. That'll be so fun. That'll be so fun. All right, let's see. Jonathan says, congrats. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. A high session of red. Bad idea. I know. That was hilarious. I just don't understand. I mean, I understand. I still find it really, really, really funny. Jordan is in the house. Good afternoon, Candace, and all of chat fam. Good to see you, Jordan. Always a pleasure for sure. Jay says, trying to sneak a buy for XEG for $1,000 last second. Oh, yes, XEG. I do like that iShares ETF. That's your capped energy one. And right now, I'll tell you who, Nine is always constantly telling me that they are buying QQCL and a few other energy ones. So Nine has been stacking, and that's paying off right now. That is absolutely paying off. All right, we got Jonathan in the house laughing. Jay says, Wealthsimple is slow to execute a buy. That's one downside for sure. Like it's one of the reasons that when I do trading, I have it on National Bank because it's just a bit more agile and it's a lot faster to make a trade. I find Wealthsimple is a little bit slow, but if Wealthsimple, like if, maybe keep the app slow, but if their desktop was a bit faster, I would definitely look at it at that because I do love Wealthsimple. I think it's definitely a great way to be, to be investing as a do-it-yourself. No commissions. It's easy to use. It's friendly. I really don't have anything negative to say about it, other than if you're a trader, then it's perhaps not the best out there yet. I always say yet, because this is the one thing. Since I've known Wealthsimple, they have been constantly improving things. So the Wealthsimple of 3 years ago is completely different than the Wealthsimple of today, which is, of course, much, much, much better. So definitely love that. All right. Ricardo says, what is your opinion on DNN? I bought 117 shares at an average of 187. Do you think it has room to grow still? Let's take a look. All right. Boost your financial know-how. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one before. All right. DNN. Let's pull this up. So DNN is, of course, Denison Mines. All right. Just going to pull up the last year. Now, Gold had a pretty good year. So, you expect, and you can see that they've been having a good year. Now, gold did slump in the last little part, and we're kind of seeing that same thing here. Now, let's take a look here and see a couple of things. So they are profitable. They've got a small earnings, not a lot. So this is still technically a penny adjacent stock, although, still, I mean, they got up to $2.42, but they're still penny adjacent. I'm not entirely opposed to penny adjacent, but I usually say be careful And what I like to do with a penny adjacent stock is I want to get into their fundamentals. That to me is the important part. So in this case here, look at this. We got a good return on equity, 10.72%. Return on assets, 9.26%. That's actually not too shabby. Let's see, their price to earnings ratio, a little high, but if they're growing, that's fine. Let's see here. We don't have a debt to equity ratio, so I don't know what's going on with their debt. That's always concerning if I don't have an idea what's going on with their debt. But let me just double check something here. It says Mine Corp. Let's just take a look. I want to make sure this is just a single company. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I like this. Uranium exploration and development. I like them a little bit more the second I saw uranium in there as well, because I am pretty bullish on uranium long term. So I think that's fantastic, because I think especially like look at AI. AI is a huge electricity user, and this is, because of that, nuclear is definitely one of those things. One of those things that we should be looking at. And I believe that nuclear energy is going to become bigger. I think it absolutely will become bigger. People just need to sort of get over it, get over their worries. And there are safer versions of nuclear reactors. I was actually watching, who was it? Oh, it was actually Bill Gates has I think it's on Netflix, a series, just a series of Bill Gates and his foundation and some of the different problems in the world. And one of the episodes was about energy, so global warming and things like that. But they did show this new nuclear power plant that instead of using water to cool it, it was using, I believe it was sodium, or was it cesium? I don't know. It was just using something else to cool it. And I have to go back and look at that, because I thought that was really, really, really interesting. So I have to go back and look at that. But I think nuclear power is a wave of the future. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. I think that's great. All right. Kievan Cass says, love that Wealthsimple now lets you modify an order. Yes, that's a good thing. Now I can do that on National Bank as well. So for example, if I have a limit order and, I'm getting closer to the day and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get down as low as I want, but I'd be willing to buy it a little bit higher. I can then modify it. And if Wealthsimple is now doing that, that's really, really, really good. All right. Ricardo says it's a uranium miner. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And okay, so no debt. That's what I was hoping for when I saw nothing in there. I always loved it. It's like, come on, if you got no debt, at least give us a 0%. Don't just leave it blank. Yeah, I think this is one of these ones. I still would say, because it's play money, because it's penny adjacent, I would still say play money area. But I can see potential there. It might be a situation, though, that, you might have to wait a while for it to get really big. Like, it could be something where 10 years ago, you'll look back today and wish you got in. That could be. But it's also small enough that you always have to be a little bit concerned and always keep an eye on it, for sure. All right, Mario is in the house with a good afternoon. Joe says, FYI, the spinoff from TC Energy, South Bow, is now trading in Canada. It will trade in the US next week. Nice. I don't know if it'll show up if I just type in South Bow, but let's take a look. Here we go. South Bow Corporation. Love the ticker. SOBO. That's fantastic. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so here we go. As you can see, they opened on the 25th of September here at $29.97. Now they're down a little bit, but it'll be fun to watch them. Like right now, we're going to have nothing. Like I can go in, watch. I'll go into the data, and we're going to have a lot of pretty much nothing in there. All right. Well, we got a little bit in there, but still not a lot. Like you'll notice, we don't have any of the, our debt to equity, return on equity, because, it hasn't been around long enough, but definitely one to watch for sure. Um, let's see, glycol. No, it wasn't glycol. It was something. It was pretty simple. I don't know why I keep thinking sodium, but let me just see here. I will see if I can find out here. Let's see. I'm just putting in. All right, let's see. All right, so right now, it's in Wyoming, this power plant. I'm just I got the article right here. I can't drag it across because I can only share the one screen right now for whatever reason. Let's see here. Come on, please tell me what you're using as a coolant. Oh, well. But the actual name of the plant, it's called the Terra Power Project. So yeah, it's okay. So okay, it's using low enriched uranium, working with other companies. Come on, folks. Why is it not telling me? All right. Well, that's the one anyway. It is Terra Power. There is something. Wait a minute. Let's. All right. Why am I browsing? Oh, it is sodium. I was thinking it was sodium, and after I said it, I'm like, no, it can't be sodium, but it is. All right, I was right. So don't you hate it when you're right, but then you start to second guess yourself? So sodium. There we go. There we go. Oh, JJ's in the house. Hello, JJ. But sodium, yeah, absolutely. So why this is significant is that it basically eliminates a lot of the dangers when it comes to things like what happened in Chernobyl. You don't have it like that because sodium doesn't create this pressure. And that's a really, really good thing. So that's kind of one of the interesting things about this Terra power plant. So something I want to keep my eyes on. I don't even know if you can invest in it, but well, I mean, I can. I wonder. I have a feeling that you can't yet. I mean, because it's brand new. I know the government has kicked in billions, and Bill Gates has kicked in billions, and but it's definitely something that I'm very interested in. If you guys are interested in it, there is a over on. Well, here I'll give you guys the link. So if you want to check this out after the stream, here is a link on that nuclear power plant. So it could be a wave towards the future. That's one of the things that Bill Gates has been doing. He's been going around using his billions to improve the world, to basically come up with a lot of really interesting things. All right. Sammer says lead could be used as well. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely, look at nuclear technology. I mean, it's old, right? We can modernize it big time. That's for sure. And I imagine as well, once AI moves along, we start utilizing it more. We're going to come up with a lot of solutions. We're definitely coming up. All right, we're going to take one final look at the market here in about 2 minutes because for whatever reason, the NASDAQ is delayed by 2 minutes. So I'm like, let's just, we'll just wait till 4:15 to look at the market. And that's fine and dandy. Now, the title of this stream is a 600-pound beaver. All right, so what is that all about? Well, it all has to do with Shopify. So the CEO of Shopify has been comparing. He's basically been comparing Canada to a 600-pound beaver in a room, and what he's actually talking about is basically in regards to our entrepreneurship in Canada and how we have a serious lack of ambition. So, and this is a question I'll put to you guys. Do you really think Canadians have a lack of ambition? So he said what's been happening is that Canadians will start up companies with the prime goal not to take the company full all the way and turn it into something nice, but to get noticed by an American company and get bought out. That seems to be one of these prime motivations for a lot of businesses today, that they're like, I sure hope somebody in the US sees what I'm doing and wants to buy me. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's just really, really cool. But that's kind of where Shopify has been talking. And I'm just trying to think, what the heck is that guy's name? Oh, I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. All right. I couldn't remember his name. It's probably because they just called him in the article. They called him the president. I'll probably have to go into the article to get his name for you guys. All right. What is his name? This is like a day where I can't find information. What's going on? What's going on? They still don't mention his name. Like, seriously? But oh well, that's fine. That's fine. But that's coming out of Shopify. I find that kind of an interesting concept. For me, it's not even so much about the Shopify per se. I mean, they're a good. I mean, they're definitely a good tech company. But I know that I do see a lot of Canadian companies. I've seen this. Watching this sector, like watching the sectors, watching the market. I've seen this happen time and time again. A Canadian company, small, they get off to a great start. And next thing you know, somebody like Apple's buying them or somebody else is buying them. I know Apple actually bought a few of these little startup AI companies in Canada. Just, it's a great way to get some talent. So I think that's kind of an interesting idea. So if you were to start a business, and hit me up in the chat with this, let me know. If you were to start a business, would your goals be to get bought by a bigger US company? Would that be your goal, or would you think you're in for more of a long haul? Just curious. Like, I know myself, it's like, being bought out would probably be fantastic, but it definitely would not be a goal. I would rather sort of control my own destiny. It would be kind of neat to really, take a company all the way, give people, especially in the tech field, give people more tech options in Canada. Don't just get bought up at the first sign of a big tech company wanting to buy you. So just something to think about. Sammer's also mentioning gases like helium. Oh, interesting. We got Lisa in the house with a hello. All right. Jonathan says either a U.S. company buys you out or Constellation Software buys you out. Well, okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, CSU is really huge. You'd probably get more money if the U.S. company bought you out, though. That's kind of the funny thing about it. Sammer says, I don't think a lack of ambition is Canadian problem. This is happening everywhere. The authoritarian governments have a lot to do in this matter, in my opinion. Okay, fair enough. And that could very well be true. It could be happening everywhere. So just something to keep in mind. Larry's in the house. Hello, Larry. Good to see you. Let's see. Betting bought 166 calls on Yang 3X China Bear ETF for January, even though I'm long on Babadoo, Tencent, and BYD. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, just recently, China pumped a whole bunch of money into their economy and, of course, into the market. So a lot of these things are going up. But this is where I think Larry's thinking, what goes up must come down. And that could be a lot of money. If you're putting some calls on these things, if you're shorting a few of these stocks coming down, yeah. But here's the question: Will it be January? Maybe. That, to me, that seems like a pretty good timing. So keep us updated on that, Larry. I can't wait to hear how this turns out. Larry says, I have a property. My corp is leasing for 5 years in exchange for 3% of the property. It's right next to a school, so I grow strawberries year-round and pumpkins for Halloween. May do Christmas trees. Okay. Fun. Pumpkins are so much fun. I love pumpkins. It's actually really interesting. One of the first jobs I got out of university was testing water. So basically, I was doing a lot of water testing at a not a compost, but at a solid waste site. So I'd go around, collect water from different leachate wells because I was making sure there weren't any nasties in the water getting out into the environment. But why I bring this up and where this ties back into pumpkins is they also had a compost. It was kind of a compost project. It was new. And they were just, they would actually go collect compost, kind of like they do nowadays. This was in the early phases of this. So this is like, in the late 90s. And they were bringing it all back into this giant field, and they were just sort of letting it sit there because they hadn't built a facility yet. They were building a top-notch composting facility, but they hadn't built it yet. So they're just putting in a pile. I was up there one day collecting water, and I walked by the pile, and I noticed there were pumpkins growing from the pile like crazy. So I think it was from last year, all the people at Halloween put all of their pumpkin scraps into the compost. It made it to the compost pile, and it turned it into a giant pumpkin thing. Like, there were big pumpkins. I grabbed one and took one home. So for Halloween, as we were getting closer to Halloween that year. So yeah, I thought that was fun. And plus, orange is one of my favorite colors. So, nothing wrong with the pumpkin. Larry says, I use the money to buy shares in the market, then pay myself a dividend. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, now for some reason that made me think of my lawn dividend. Now I really miss that dividend. And that goes back to a while back. So anybody new to the channel has no idea what I'm talking about. But one day I was sitting in my, we have like a couch downstairs that has, each section has its own little lazy boy type thing. Well, I was in my section. And I was looking out the window, and there it was, just a $10 bill in the middle of the lawn. I went out and collected it. I still have it. I haven't spent it. I mean, it's just sitting. It's actually sitting in my purse, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. It's just sitting there. But yeah, so I mentioned it in chat, and somebody said, "Oh my God, your lawn paid you a dividend." So now, whenever I talk about the lawn dividend, that's kind of what I'm referring to. So that's pretty good. All right. Ooh, it's 4:22. Let's take our final look at the market. Let's bring this on up. We'll get back to the TSX. So, nice rally at the end, but not enough, as we said. Negative 0.13, but it was 0.16 15 minutes before the market closed. So not too shabby. The S&P, oh boy, look at this. It almost didn't stay in the green. It finishes 0.01% up, but that's pretty flat. NASDAQ 0.15% up, definitely helped by NVIDIA. Dow Jones 0.09. Gold still down 0.15. Silver having a good day, up 0.1, 0.39. Now keep in mind, these commodities down here, they're going to keep moving all through the night. So WTI, pretty flat day, 0.22%. Bitcoin down 0.79, Ethereum 0.326. Final look at the heat map. All right, let's get rid of the losers. I'm just wanting to look at the winners right now. We'll even get rid of this. So as you can see, oil still doing good. Here's a Pembina Pipelines, 0.79% up. Key is up 0.73. Imperial Oil up. Oh, we got a few. Nutrien, not too shabby, 1.14. Air Canada. Air Canada is up 1.12. And we're going to pull up this for a moment here. So Air Canada is it's that long-term, I guess I'll call it a swing trade that I'm making within the 0 to 100K. So the rule is on that is anytime it falls below 16, each month, I'll pick up another 5 shares. Now, look at this. It is actually doing. Now, here's the funny thing. I had an order. I put in an order the other day, just out of craziness. And it did trigger. What did it trigger at? Let me take a look here. I have to actually pull up the challenge, as I do have it written down. Yeah, it triggered at 1598. I honestly didn't even think it was going to trigger. I put it in. So I did get 5 shares of Air Canada this month at 1598 because basically 16 is my cutoff. So not too shabby. Of course, knowing my luck, it'll go lower. It'll go lower later in the month, and I'll be like, why did I do it so early? But we'll see. I mean, I'm expecting volatility in October anyway. I do expect the month to end in green. I do expect a green candle for the month, but we're definitely going to see a little bit of volatility in there along the way. All right. And as we sort of mentioned before, Power Corporation of Canada up almost a full percent. Those of you who don't know, Power Corporation of Canada, so POW, they are the majority shareholder of Wealthsimple. So they, they're very much involved in Wealthsimple. So if you love Wealthsimple and you kind of want to invest in them, this is probably your best proxy would be POW. And they've got a half decent quarterly dividend as well. So not too shabby. All right. And ETFs, once again, finished mostly in the green, 0.07% up for VFV. Then the US. So yeah, the US, we had some good stuff. We had like I said, NVIDIA up, Broadcom is up when we're looking at tech. Let's actually get rid of the losers. Let's get rid of the losers. We'll just look at the greens, and maybe that will make us feel a little bit better. So yeah, here we got QCOM is also up 1.53. To see if there's anybody really huge right now. Now, I don't actually know who Now is, but ServiceNow. Okay, that's who Service. Yeah, look at them. They've been doing pretty good. That's not too shabby as well. So just something to keep in mind. And crypto, oh boy. Once again, we got a lot of red. Solana's down even more. Last time I think they were down 0.3 something. So 4.28% down. Holy cow. So we definitely have a lot of red going on. Cardano. Yeah. And is this Render? Yeah, Render. All right. I noticed the thing. I'm like, that looks like Render, I think. So I know a few more coins than I probably should know. But that's fine. Coming up. I'm just going to go into the Discord. I want to pull up the schedule here for a moment before we get back to the chat. I did add a little bit more to it just to get us to the end of the month. But I do want to point out this here, October 8th. So on October 8th, we're going to start a bit of a new series. It's not really, it's more of, it's a new series. It's called Investing on a Budget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at different categories. So maybe it'll be total returns, but we're going to look at stocks under $20 for all of these in this series. So we'll call it Investing on a Budget. And, in the blurb before we get to the list, I'll probably give some tips and stuff on investing in a budget and things like that. So that's going to be fun. I'm actually looking forward to that. That's going to be nice. Also, October 15th is our subscriber-sponsored video. We will, right here on the 6th, so this Sunday, not only are we giving away free memberships, we're going to open up the opportunity for somebody if they want to sponsor do a subscriber-sponsored video. Now, normally, I think I pitched it initially as, you could pick any company. I'll do a deep dive. But I mean, obviously, if you want a specific list or something instead of a deep dive, I'll probably do that as well. But I have a feeling most of it's going to be deep dives. I mean, the whole idea behind it is that the way we do deep dives on the channel, of course, is we vote on them. And we currently, Telus just won the deep dive for Friday. So the way that works is sometimes you have a company you really want me to do, and I probably really want to do it. But if it can't win the vote, there's nothing I can do because I threw the power into the hands of the people. So the people have the power. But this is your way to get around it. So with that subscriber sponsored, basically we'll open it up. First super chat at $20. They get the deep dive. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. So yeah, we open that up on that. If it doesn't go during that, we'll give an opportunity for the people who are watching it on the replay. So then we'll just go until the next, to the market close on Wednesday. So if somebody gets in it, that'll be fun. Anyway, Anyway, we'll talk more about that on Sunday. Let's hit back into the chat for a moment here. Ricardo says, I did take Nike, put $90 strike, expire 11/15, and it printed from 465 to 820. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty bullish on Nike. I think long term, and I think now in the U.S. as we get deeper into rate cut season, because they just begun, it is going to make people feel a little bit more willing to spend. And that's going to be good on companies like Nike because, Nike is, Nike is a much better quality sneaker than perhaps, some, bottom dollar Walmart sneaker. So, that's going to be good. I think it's going to be good for a lot of people. The nice thing is that with rate cuts coming, the holiday season could actually be better this year for retailers than it has been. And, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I know a lot of retailers are absolutely struggling. So always, always good. All right. Tom said, just curious, you said you are looking to unload your Air Canada in the first quarter of 25 at hopefully 20 per share. What are you basing that on? Okay. So I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying that I think it's going to happen in 2025. I don't know if it'll be first quarter. It may not. My goal is, and well, let's bring it up here. Let's pull up Air Canada. Whoops, that's not Air Canada. All right. Okay, good old Air Canada. I'm going to go to the 10-year. All right. So this is Air Canada. So basically, they were doing fantastic. They were flying high, no pun intended, until the pandemic. They fell big time. And we're not going to get back up to this $50. That's out of the question because they have a lot of share dilution. So share dilution, by the way, is where they basically just say, okay, let's create a whole bunch. It's like money printing, except for your stock printing. You're adding a whole bunch of outstanding shares and you're selling them. So you're getting money in. But what that does is the shares that people already have that they're holding, it lowers the value. So you end up as a shareholder when dilution is happening, you're kind of gritting your teeth, like watching your investment shrink. And that's one of the bad things. So anybody who got into Air Canada up in here and is holding a bunch of bags, they're going to be waiting a very long time. Like when I say a very long time, we're not talking months. We may not even be talking years. They may be waiting 10 years. I mean, it's hard to say. But after all of this dilution and after the bear market and all of that fun stuff, Air Canada has found a new top. And that new top is up in here. So anywhere from 21, I wouldn't even go up that high. I'd say 21 to 25. So that tends to be that new top. Now, as the market happens, and right now we're in a situation where, they've struggled a little bit. Rate cuts are going to help them, which is great. But here's that thing. Anytime, so I've sort of said it this way, anytime they fall below $16, I am going to, I have an idea. Let's do this a different way. I have an idea. This will be fun. Let's come in, Air Canada. All right, let's add them. Let's head over to Air Canada. Here we go. All right, now I don't want an hour chart. We're going to go to, let's actually go to a 1-day chart. And I'm just going to shrink this up a little bit. All right, now I'm going to shrink it even more like this. Here we go. There's some, this here was me doing some TA. Basically, I had charted this pattern at one point. This here was what I was predicting would happen. And that's what happened, just to put it out. I probably played that. That was back in March. Holy banana bread. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of that. But here is the thing. So right now, I'm going to get let's get us a bar. Let's get us a bar. Come on, trend line. And all right, we'll just draw it like this. Orange is fine. Orange is fine. It matches Halloween. All right. Perfect. So this is my line, and I'm going to put this right here, $16. So anything under this is my buy zone. And you can see we've been down in here before. Now my sell zone is, it's going to be right over here. So this is kind of that zone where I'm looking at Air Canada, and they do go above it. Absolutely. If we were to go further back in the past, you'll see they go above it a lot. So it is a normal thing for them to go above it, but this is kind of that play that I'm making. So each month it falls below this, I will add 5 shares. Then I will hold them. So while it's in between here, I'm doing nothing. It's just going to sit there. You know, and here's that thing. If you notice that little, I don't know if I can zoom this in a bit more. I probably could. I'd have to do this here. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right. Now this here is the beautiful thing. Whoops. If you see this red candle right here, and so it dipped down. It dipped down here to so 1597. I had it set at 1598 on the day it opened, and it actually I was surprised because a lot of times these things shoot up so fast that you miss it, but I managed to hit the trigger. I'm like, what the hell? So I got it. But right now they're having you know, not too bad. Like this is the second. This here's the first. Oh, sorry. This is the first. No, this here is where it ended. And then I got it. Anyway, I put it in for 98. I did manage to get it. That's kind of cool. So, of course, if it goes further down, I mean, I could always buy another 5. But, you know, I'm going to keep the rules. I'm going to keep the rules. 5 every month that it falls below that. And here's the thing. I don't care. I mean, honestly, this challenge is going to be going for a while. Just going to shrink this up a little bit. So this challenge is going for a while. I'm not going to hit 100K in 2025. So whether it happens in the first quarter, whether it happens in the second quarter, whenever it happens, and I know it will, I will do it. I will sell. I will sell when I cross that 20 line. Now, what I will do, actually, let me just rephrase it. When I hit that 20 line, so let's just say I'm going to give myself another trend line, and I'm going to make this one green. So let's say we hit that line and we go right above. Does that mean I'm selling it instantly? No, it doesn't. What it means is that I'm going to put in I'm going to tilt this a bit. So let's just say it ends up doing something like this. What I'll do is once it hits 20 is I'll put in a stop loss. So it's not getting below 20 without me selling it. And if it continues to go up, I will keep rising the stop loss. So obviously I'm not going to, if we get up here, I'm not going to say, oh, well, if it gets back to 20, I'll sell. No, I'll probably say 2048 at that point. But as long as it can maintain its upward momentum, I'll stay in it. Then once it does drop down, once it drops down a little bit, it hits my whatever my stop loss is at that time, it sells, and I'll wait. I'll wait again for it to crash. Maybe it never does. And at that point, I can always reevaluate. I can always reevaluate in the future for sure and make changes as it goes along. But that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the goal with this. It's basically, I'm calling it a long-term. It's just a long-term swing. Obviously, the sooner we get up there, the better. You know, it's kind of an interesting thing. And the reason I decided to do it in the challenge is because I talk about this all the time, and I have pulled this sale before. So, you know, back when it was moving up a lot more quickly. But we'll see. We'll have to see. I mean, you know, it could get to a situation where, maybe 5 years from now, it never actually ever gets back here. And at that point, by then I would have reevaluated, obviously. But I do have, I have a little bit of, I have some faith. I have faith in Air Canada that they will fly above 20 again. And I'll have made some profit. And the beautiful thing is, if I'm adding 5 every month, so let's say, for example, we get to, here we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, I can't show you. I was going to pull over my thing that does calculations for me, but that's fine. I can do calculations. I can tell you. So I think right now I'm at about 20 shares, and we'll just say times $16. All right. So that there is basically a $320 investment. And, 20 times 20, if I sell it at 20, that's basically right now, that's, it's not a lot. It's $80. It's basically an $80 and a win. But the longer this goes, and I'm keep stacking 5 and 5 and 5, goes from 80 to 160 to 320 to 640 and higher. So it's just something to keep in mind. And that's kind of the whole scenario that I got going with that. Oh boy, I really went off on a tangent on that one. Let's see. Ricardo says, can you do a deep dive on copper industry or nickel? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that would be like a list video. I can probably do it. Yeah, I just don't know when. I don't know when I can fit it in, but I'm going to keep that on my back burner. Do me a favor, Ricardo. I know that you are in the Discord. There is a video request category in Discord. Let me show you. Now, it might be named strangely because JJ had some fun in there. But let me see. Yeah, special requests. Just come into special requests. Throw things like that down here because I will go through that. And hey, if you request it, I'm always looking to see what you guys want because I always come up with the ideas. I come up with what I think you guys want, but you guys know what you want. So absolutely utilize that. I'm always looking for ideas for sure. All right. Jay says, I just realized I have VDY and realized it has energy exposure. Is there a point buying XEG? All right. Well, XEG, it is Canadian. So, VDY, for example, they're going to be holding different stuff. So let me just pull this over here. Let's take a look here. So, all right. When you look at your VDY, you're going to see right now that, yes, it has a lot of Canadian stuff in it as well. So Canadian high dividend yield, but, depends on how much exposure. Like I'd have to see what companies it's holding. Honestly, I don't know what every company is in VDY. While XEG has a much more exposure, of course, to energy. And you can sort of see this here is what's been going on lately. But they have good months while oil is going down. I find XEG responds really well to the price of WTI. So when WTI is soaring, so is XEG. But it boils down to like XEG will have a lot of companies that are your more growth-oriented oil, whereas VDY, they're looking for better dividend companies. So they are going to miss on some of the bigger growth companies. So keep that in mind. Yeah, they're definitely going to miss on some. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Tom says, I'm in at 1557 on average with 80K in. So a $20 sell would start my tail wagging. Oh, nice. Nice. Very, very nice. Oh boy. Yeah, that's really, really, really good. Oh, Tom. Be patient, my friend. You're going to have a payday, I think. Mary says, hit the like button, people. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. While you guys all hit that like button, Oh, so good. Bismarcky says, I smashed that like button. Nice. UTG is a good utility ETF that pays monthly dividends. All right, let's take a look at UTG. And I'll tell you right now, utilities are benefiting. They are absolutely benefiting from the rate cut. So this one here is the Reeves Utility Income Fund of Beneficial Interest. Let's go back 6 months, and here we go. Well, heck, they actually began before the rate cuts because the rate cuts came in about here. But since here, they've been on a tear. So that's not too shabby. What do they pay dividend-wise? Oh, that's not a bad yield, 6.945% monthly. They do pay in a USD dividend, but that's not too shabby. Now, keep in mind, I don't know who they're holding. Are they holding Canadian or are they holding North American? Because, yeah, I've got nothing down here giving me an idea. I'd have to go to the website per se. But if they're holding US as well, they have started the rate cut cycles in the US. So that, utility companies in the US are going to benefit as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. Jeff has finally made it back to Canada. Nice. Mega jet lagged. Excited to see if a lot more people start buying into SCHD after the stock split. Yes, SCHD. Let's take a gander here. All right, so that's your Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. All right. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, I mean, we got a good movement, but when is that? I thought that stock was, for some reason, I thought that the stock was already split. I don't know. I can't remember what the price was on Schwab, but yeah, that'll be interesting. Now, keep in mind too, because it's an American stock, sometimes the TSX, because this is the group that runs the TSX, so TMX runs the TSX. Sometimes I find it might take them a little bit to get it in there as well. But well, here, let me take a look here. SCHD. Let's take a look over here. Boop-a-doo-doo. SCHD. There we go. Let's add it directly. This one here will, oh no, it's still at 84.54. Okay, interesting. Boop-a-doo-doo. Yeah. What is this here? Should it be on your investing radar? Well, maybe. It is a good ETF for sure. I've seen there's so many US YouTubers that have been just promoting this ETF like crazy, but I forget the exact date of their split. I thought it was really soon though. But anyway, let's see here. Jonathan says VDY is mostly Canadian banks, especially RBC. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't think they had a high amount of energy. Let's see, Cameco. Sorry, Cameco. I was going to say Cameco said. No, Jeff says Cameco has also been on a tear. Yes, once again, uranium. Uranium is it's going to be big. I'm convinced of that. Ricardo says, love Cameco when I purchased it at $20 and rode it to 54, but then jumped the bus and moved into UEC, UROY, and DNN. I think it splits in a few weeks. Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, this hasn't split yet because I could have swore this was the right price. So yeah, SCHD raised its dividend 10% on average for the last 10 years. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. And then yeah, 3-to-1 stock split. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Yesterday says, Fennec Pharma just got wrecked on earnings. Any thoughts on if it's a good time to buy? Good question. Good question. Let's come back in here. Actually, you know what? I probably want to look in here because then I can see their after hours. So they just released their earnings yesterday. Like not yesterday, but today. Anyway. Fine. All right, let's go down here to Fennec. Here we go. Here are their earnings. Let's see. Oh my God, look at this. They have been on a tear downwards. Yeah, definitely. Let's look at these earnings. Yeah, so they're coming out. Well, here's interesting. November 26th, but okay, well, you were looking at, and then they also had these earnings here. These were from August, so, and yeah, they were definitely 700% down on earnings, 33.91% down on revenue. That's not good, but believe it or not, I mean, yeah, no, this is difficult. This is difficult. I need to look in here. Give me a second here. Let's pull this up. FENNC, is that it? There we go. Fennec Pharmaceuticals. Oh, there's one on the TSX as well, but we'll go to the US one. They're going to pretty much be the same, just in different units for the most part. All right. I actually want to go into their key data. All right, let's take a gander in here. They're not even listing a return on equity. Return on assets, negative 59.64. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. I would be very hesitant with this one, to be honest. It's falling. I don't see anything that would make me believe it's going to change its momentum. So I would be highly, highly, highly cautious. So this is one that if you're going to drop money on it, think of it almost like a gamble. So play money maybe, but yeah, I'd be worried. I would be careful with that one yesterday. All right. Jay says, I missed my RBC portfolio analyzer. It's hard to keep track which sector I'm heavy with. Well, Jay. If you grab Blossom, there is a link down below. You can hook your portfolio up to Blossom, and it will tell you your sectors. Like there's tons of data in there. That's where I pull my sectors for when I'm doing the 0 to 100K. That's where I get my sectors from. So that's just one possibility as well. I'm trying to think. I don't know if passive breaks it down into sectors for you, but I'm sure there's got to be some other things in there. I should do some digging on that one, because that sounds like a good idea to see if there's anything other than Blossom. I do like what Blossom does, but there might be other options out there. Andrew says, what do you think about ARG? That's what pirates say, Andrew. Without the good ARG, like pirate's just not a pirate. Anyway, okay. So, I'm kidding. What do you think about ARG? I'm thinking this copper miner might be a good long-term swing. All right, let's take a look. ARG. ARG without the pirate jokes. So it's Amerigo. And I have looked at them before. I recognize their name. Let's come back here. Now, they have had some good movement up, but I mean, they're still penny adjacent. They are definitely still penny adjacent. However, they are profitable. They've got they do have an earnings per share 0.09. Not too bad for a small company. They have a dividend 3 cents quarterly. But let's go into their key data here. There's a couple of things. Their debt to equity. So for a small company, a lot of times these small companies tend to have bigger debt to equity ratios because, they're borrowing money to try to get their business going and off the ground. They don't. They've got a 13% debt to equity. That's not too bad. Their return on equity, 10.75%, pretty good. Return on assets, 5.73, not bad. So most of their numbers are not too shabby. So that's a good thing right there. Now, you're thinking of a play on it. Now, they do have a high beta. So basically, their beta 3.14. It means that they are 3.14 times more volatile than the market average, because the market average has a beta of 1, and then that's how you tell how volatile you are compared to everybody else. So with that in mind, let's go back here. We got some volatility. So this is going to move a good amount. We're going to go back further. We're going to go back 3 years. And you can see they've had a lot of ups and downs. Now, they are profitable. I like some of their things. So I have a feeling that they are going to maintain profitability. But I also have a feeling you're going to see a lot of movement. So if you're looking to make a short-term play, I wouldn't be buying at this point if you're looking to do a short-term trade. I would be waiting for it to get down to about 127 maybe, and then ride it up if that's kind of what you're thinking about. Um, but you're talking about a really good long-term swing. Even still, I would do a long-term swing where I'm like, maybe every time it's below, you can even come here. Anytime it's below like $1.40, that might be a time to stack some more in there. And then, let's see where it goes. But they should go up, I think, on the long term. Their fundamentals look good if they maintain their debt. Now, because they're penny adjacent, you still want to watch this stock. So, for example, if you're watching it and you start noticing their debt continue to go up, well, find out why, first of all. Don't automatically say, uh-oh, they're in trouble, because, you can have good debt. Like if you're borrowing money to make a lot more money, that's really good debt. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it. So yeah, I think there's potential here, but be careful. That's what I would say about this one. Yesterday says it's speculative for sure. Yes, absolutely. But they have a few contracts pending. Thanks for looking. And you see, this is what due diligence is good, right? Because on the charts, I'm not going to see that they have some contracts pending. Maybe those. Now, I would make sure that those contracts are done deals, because sometimes a pending contract doesn't always necessarily, come to fruition. But yeah, be careful with Fennec. That's the bottom line on that one. Sammer says Fennec has been unprofitable for the past 3 years. Yeah. There's nothing in there that makes me think it's a diamond in the rough at all. So definitely be careful with Fennec. Big time, big time, big time, big time. So just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, we are coming towards the end. If you got your last minute questions, let's start flooding the chat with them. And like I said, sometimes the last minute questions end up taking us another hour. I don't think it'll take us an hour today, but you never know. You never know. It's all up to you guys. That's for sure. This is a very good coffee. Mario wants to know about Ho. I've never looked at Ho. Shall we go get ourselves a Ho? Here we go. There is no Ho. The Ho's are all dry. For some reason, Mario, I think that is that's funny. Let's see here. I have a feeling it was okay. It's how. How does Meg? Oh boy. Let's take a look at Meg. I don't know what Meg is. Oh, Meg Energy. I've heard them. I've heard of them before. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah. All right, let's look at. We're getting away from the Ho jokes and we're going to Meg Energy here. Let's take a look at their 6 months. So, oh gosh, they have been on a long trajectory down, but you can see they're already doing a little bit of recovery here, but not the best to start off with. They do have a small yield. They are profitable. We got a nice 1.55 here. And let's see. So they are in situ oil sands development in Alberta. Okay. Now, they should benefit as more things unravel in the Middle East. That's going to be good for the Canadian energy sector because, the disruption of oil production there means that we can turn it up and really start selling our stuff up here. So hopefully that helps them. Hopefully. Let's go into their key data here. So let's see here. The return on equity, 12.99. That's not bad. Return on assets, 8.54. So yeah, those look good. They don't have a lot of debt, which is good. 21%. No, that's not too shabby. Let's just take a look here. They've got a little bit of volatility in there, but I find sometimes in oil you do have a little bit of volatility for sure. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think Meg Energy, provided, and here's the thing, this is the type of company that I think they're going to rebound. I do think they will rebound. Now, when we look, let's actually go further back. We'll do a 5-year. When we look at this little section, compare that to what they have done for the longest time. They've been on a bit of a tear. So it's hard. Keep in mind, energy did slump, and they have slumped with it. And that's why I'm saying I'm not worried. I wouldn't be worried. You have to sometimes zoom out. This is one of those things. A lot of times, if people are only looking at that 1 year, they're looking at it and like, oh, well, that's not that good looking. But you always want to take that zoom out. So, 5 years, 10 years. Now, 10 years, you can say, okay, oh, well, what happened there? Well, it's kind of ancient history. Back in 2016, you'd have to look at the news. Maybe there was an oil crash. I don't know what happened in 2016, to be honest. But since the pandemic, and you can see, here's that pandemic drop, they did well. They did well through the bear market or the bull market. And the bear market the bear market started about here. And they did really well in the bear market. They've done well through the rate cuts. It's only lately that they've had a little bit of a correction. And they've had corrections like this before. So I wouldn't be concerned. I think they're a good company. I like their fundamentals. There's nothing wrong with them. Andrew says, I bought ARG for a while. Okay, so you've been stacking them. Okay. Yeah, I do like what I see with them. Ron wants to know, have you ever cashed out due to fear of the future? Well, not all my stuff. Every so often, I might have an asset that I can see stuff going on in the future that I'm like, it's time to cash out. For example, as we were moving in towards November of 2021, I was just getting a bad feeling about some things. So I did move a lot of my assets at that point in time out of we're not talking stocks, we're actually talking crypto. I moved a lot of my altcoins. I started cashing a lot of those out, and they crashed big time. They really did. But then Bitcoin went and crashed big time too. So what can you say? But sometimes I will get out of a particular asset. So, for example, back early in the pandemic, everybody thought weed was going to absolutely fly. So I did put a small investment into Weed MD, and it did not fly. And everybody was in the red. It just absolutely tanked until now I got lucky. Wall Street Bets decided to pump weed stocks, and I'm like, I just happened to be online. I happened to be looking at the stock when all of a sudden it flew like crazy up to the top. And I got out. I'm like, oh my God, I've got my exit. I'm on my way out. So I made a half decent little profit, and I got out. And then I'm like, I'm never investing in that again. That was one of these situations where everybody thought the legalization of weed was going to really pump it, and then that the pandemic would help, but it really didn't. It was a bad decision. It was a very bad decision. So, but mind you, the community that I was hanging out at that time, a lot of people in that stock community were like, this is going to be a big thing. A lot of people thought it was, and I let myself. I would actually call that a FOMO incident. Fear of missing out, everybody's saying it's going to go up, and I didn't do my homework. But I got lucky and I got out. So just something to keep in mind. Now, what if I think the market's going to crash? So let's say I'm looking and I'm like, oh God, we're going to slide into a bear market. In a case like that, I would, of course, probably look at not selling out, but more or less realigning my portfolio. So, for example, if we're moving into a bear market, I'm probably moving at a small cap. Going to put those into stocks that are going to weather the bear market fine. Stocks I would probably get a little more heavy on going into the bear market would be things like railroads, at least Canadian railroads. So, CP, CNR for sure. I would, and depending on what's going on, like if I might go into a little bit more into, stocks like Dollarama, some utilities type things, but I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to ride through. And the other option too, is if I want to play. Now on the play side, so on the trading side, the more short-term stuff, I might be looking at some different inverse ETFs, not to sit in through the whole bear market, but more or less just to play. Because I find that I find the best way to make money off of these is basically very situational. So, and always, you never want to leave. To me, you never want to leave an inverse ETF unattended because you can get burnt really easily, especially if you've got like a 2x or a 3x leverage on it. So, I always pay very much attention when I'm dealing with things like that. But I and here's the thing though, and I'll put this out there too. A lot of times there may be a market crash that's caused by like a black swan or something, and you may not have any warning. It may already be on its way down by the time you realize it's happening. And in a case like that, any of my blue chip stocks, that's fine. They're officially now going to ride out that bear market. It's as simple as that. I will reevaluate and I will watch some of the smaller stocks big time. And in some cases, if I'm not comfortable with the fundamentals and I'm looking like, oh gosh, I think they're going to do really bad as we move through the bear market, it might be a situation where I look at taking, doing a sideways trade. So selling out of a stock that's in bad shape, moving it into one that I think has a better chance of surviving better in the market. And then at that point, you do have a little bit of selling. So it's kind of situational. Now, mind you, when we do get to that point, I'll be here. I will definitely tell you guys what I'm doing as it happens. But luckily, I don't think we're going into a bear market. At least not this year. At least not this year for sure. All right. Oh boy, look at this. We have a dividend from the banana bread. I was going to say the banana bread company, but the banana bread company. This makes them the GOAT. So thank you very much, Banana Bread Company. And that is one of three. So we're 1/4 of the way towards a Friday market close. All right. Now let's get back to where I was. Thank you once again, Banana Bread Company. All right. Andrew says my cost is around 155. My future plan is to put a trailing stop loss, then buy when China news is really bad. Copper seems to move with the news out of China. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, I think it does. Oh, and you have access to a trailing stop loss. Oh man, what? That's fantastic. That is I do love trailing stop losses, but unfortunately, National Bank or Wealthsimple don't actually offer those. But I know you can get them. If I remember correctly, people in chat were telling me you can get them on Questrade, and I know you can definitely get them on Desjardins. So there might be a few others in there as well that I'm missing. But if you have access to a trailing stop loss, folks, use them. Use them. They're great. If you're trading, if you're long-term investing, you don't need to worry about it. Larry says oil went down to $150 a barrel in 2016, then dropped to 60. There we go. That is probably what we were looking at on that chart. So that makes sense. The date lines up really, really well. Larry, you are a fountain of knowledge. You're a fountain of knowledge for sure. Andrew says, I'll have to check out Meg. Yeah, I think it's a good company for sure. Let's see. Larry says oil went to 150 in 2015, then dropped to 60 in 2016. Okay, perfect. Vanessa says, holding my QQQ puts, I still feel like there is bearish sentiment due to current climate. What's your vibe on things? I think tech investors have been walking on eggshells for a long time. And I think it's going to hold until we get the next round of tech earnings. So when we get that next round of earnings, if all of a sudden, all of the tech companies are starting to show that they're, beating expectations, and we're not even talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA can do well in earnings and still have a trouble, but that's because of the sentiment that was created by all of the negative earnings from a lot of the other tech companies. So if we get a good tech earnings season next, for Q3, I think that will make things a little bit stabler. But until then, I think we're still going to see a little bit of volatility in the tech sector. So your put might be okay. It might be okay. Vineet is in the building. Hi, all says the Vineet. The Vineetster. Ooh, I like that. Jay says, I just signed up with Passive. It's great, except my portfolio score of 524 is poor. Yes, I know I'm poor. Oh, well. You know what? I wouldn't worry about numbers. And I'm saying this as the creator of Mr. Math. The reality is, when you look at some of these scores that kind of try to rank you, a lot of times they're really irrelevant. What you should be looking at is, if you want to concentrate on numbers, concentrate on the fundamentals of the stocks you're holding. Concentrate on your total returns. Concentrate on how your portfolio is done over time. Because something like Passive gives you a score of 524, who cares? It's not that important. What is important is knowing what your investing goals are and how well you are doing in comparison to them. Create your own benchmarks. Don't use somebody else's. You decide your benchmark, and that way if you hit it, you're doing, you're not a 524. You're 1,000 if you're hitting your own benchmark. Simple as that. And that's the thing. Some people will have benchmarks that are harder to hit than others, but to me, it doesn't matter. Set your goals. It doesn't matter if your goal is big, if your goal is small, because sometimes a small goal is that stepping stone to a bigger goal. So just keep that in mind. Larry says, BHP, the number one supplier of copper in the world, own 90% of the supply. Number one customer is China for making house china, also number one customer for Caterpillar. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew says, if you have Quest Trade, then Passive Premium is free. Stock Unlock is also awesome. Nice. Preach. Vineet says, preach, Candace. I'm doing the preach thing. I'm doing the preach thing. So we're doing good. We're doing good. All right. I love it. All right. Keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming here. I think we're on a little bit of a roll. You gotta love it. I'm gonna have some coffee here. Excuse me. Now I will point out. Let's actually. We're gonna come back over here. We're gonna go to crypto for a moment. And here's Bitcoin. Okay, this is the 1 day. This is fine. I'm okay with the 1 day. So we have been, Bitcoin has been a little bit volatile lately, but we are getting to that point where a lot of people have been calling October for crypto at least, and that might be the case. As you guys have probably heard me say a billion times, after a halvening, and we had the halvening back in April, it usually takes 4 or 5, maybe 6 months before we actually see any movement within the asset. So we are starting to we're in that zone. We're in that zone. So there are a lot of people right now who are let's talk miners, who are basically producing Bitcoin at about half of what they used to get. So we're going to see a supply shock, and we're already starting to see that. So I do think we are going to see some movement or something happening soon. It feels like it in the market. It feels like we're building up to something. So we definitely have to take a look and see how that's going to go. All right. The Banana Bread Company is back again with another $2 dividend. So they were the GOAT, but you know what? They're still the GOAT. They are still the GOAT. I wish I could talk over that. It won't let me talk over that. Well, maybe just a second. Let me try something. I'm gonna. No, You guys can't hear me, right? I don't think you can. I don't think you can hear me over the goat. So I was going to say, because I have that as a, yeah, it's kind of interesting because normally it mutes the mic, I think, when it goes up. And I was trying to see if there's a way to undo that. Oh, well. Anyway, thank you once again, Banana Bread. Oh, you guys did hear me while the goat was up? Oh, well, that's good. Because normally what I've been doing is I've been popping the goat up and then waiting till it goes, till I click it off to say the goat. If you guys can hear me, I'll just keep on talking as that goat comes up. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. All right. Whew. I'm liking that. I'm definitely liking that. All right. Yeah, so we are getting very, very, very close here to the end. I just want to point out as well, we do have a deep dive coming up on TELUS. That will be, of course, on Friday. On Friday, that comes out. Those of you who are channel members, you get to see things one day sooner. So you guys will see the TELUS deep dive tomorrow. I like this one. This was a good one. So definitely fantastic. Whew. Yeah, and keep in mind, you guys want to be here. You guys want to be here on Sunday because we do have some free channel memberships that we're going to be dropping. And the beautiful thing with a channel membership is if you've never experienced being a channel member before, it gives you access to all the old live streams. And we always have a topic, so you can always go through them. And if you see ones that you like, then yeah, that could be some fun. Could be hours of fun. Could be hours of fun. Or, if you find me a little boring, maybe play it just before you go to bed. And, nah, well, probably not. I think I'm probably too animated to be an effective sleeping agent. What do you think about the China stimulus? Obviously, there's problems in China. That's the thing. We know there's problems in China. And ever since Evergrande, there's been problems in China, and I think they just keep on patching things up with a Band-Aid. So that always worries me because China is the second largest economy in the world. And if we have problems with that economy, needless to say, I'm going to pull this up. Needless to say, if we have problems with the Chinese economy, it can filter, it can affect the rest of us. So hopefully whatever they're trying to do, hopefully they're successful. But I think there's going to be problems there for a while. Keep in mind, part of that is a lot of countries are taking their business elsewhere, like, for example, India. So that is it's going to hurt the coffers over in China land for a while. And it could be bad. It could be bad. So I don't know how long. Problem is, though, is if they keep on stimulating stuff, they will cause inflation in China, obviously. So, how much is that going to affect the rest of us? It's going to be hard to see, but it will definitely affect the rest of the world in one way or another. And we have number 3. We have number 3 in from the Banana Company. They're earning this Friday show all by themselves. Holy banana bread. They are absolutely it's like I should almost have one of these with 3 goats in it. That way there. It's, symbolizes that they get a 3. They get a hat trick. If you like the hockey, they have a hat trick. So that is not too shabby. All right, let's pull this back here. So, all right, we're one away. We're one away from a Friday show. So hopefully, and we're also in the dying minutes. So we're looking for a breakout or a breakaway. See if we can get that last one in there. Jay says, I would be more worried about the port strike in the U.S. I already have problems finding good quality produce. Yes, the port strike. Oh, boy. So, yeah, you're looking at the East Coast. The East Coast is the ports are pretty much shut down. Now, it does depend. Keep in mind, if it's a short strike, it really won't impact very much at all for a couple of reasons. One, they're used to that. Every so often, they do shut down ports along that East Coast for everything from hurricanes to things like that. So they do have that. The other thing, and this is another good thing, is a lot of big companies saw this coming. So what did they do? They ordered inventory as much as they could store. They ordered a lot of excess to sort of give them a bit of a breathing space. So that will help as well. But if this prolongs, if it goes on for a really long time, then yeah, that could have an impact. It's hard to say how bad it will be on Canada. In some cases, it could even help Canada for some of our exports that they get from other places. But, it will be like, it's not going to hurt them food wise. Like most of their food imports come from, from Canada and Mexico. We both send a lot of food their way, but it's not a good thing. I don't like to see anything touching that supply chain right at this point in time. We've only just gotten over all of the supply chain issues. So this is one, it's bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. Keep in mind the West Coast, their ports are still open. So they are still receiving everything over there. So there is that as well. But I think the thing is we'll have a bit of a backlog. It could affect the holidays if it goes on for a long, long time. Hopefully it doesn't. Now I know that they're quite a far way apart, and I think it's a wage negotiations. If I remember, I think the port is offering them a 50% wage increase over 6 years, and they are demanding 75% or no 77% over 6 years. So that's the gulf between 50 and 77. So we have to sort of see how that's going to play out. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But are you guys kind of tired of strikes? It seems like there's been a lot of them recently. It's like every week somebody's going on strike. So hopefully we can get a lot of this resolved. I'm okay with them. I mean, if they want 77, maybe at least try. If you are the port, so if you're the port authorities or whoever pays them, come back with maybe 66. Come back with 66. See if that will do it. Maybe it will. But it's hard to say. It is definitely hard to say how this is all going to work out. But yeah, it is definitely concerning. Andrew says, how would we play that, Jay? The port strike. Oh, that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to say. Because here's the other issue, I guess, as well. With that port strike, obviously, if it goes on for a long time, then there will be companies, like if all of a sudden the companies no longer have stuff in their warehouse, what are they going to do to the employees? They're going to temporarily lay them off. So it won't be great for the U.S. economy, but that will impact the U.S. more than it will impact Canada. Just something to put there. All right. Oh boy, holy banana bread. The banana bread company is back one more time. They have single-handedly earned you guys a Friday market close. Holy cow. They are 100% the GOAT of the week. They have done it. They have done it. 4. Wow. I don't think anybody's ever done 4 in one show. So definitely the Banana Bread Company, you have the entire chat's thanks for Friday's show. And honestly, this is probably the best way to end the show with this. It's absolutely awesome. And yes, absolutely. Mary echoes everyone else. Thank you, Banana Bread. And I'll tell you something now. I do not know who Banana Bread Company is. And I kind of don't want to know who they are. So I don't know who it is. It could be, I don't know. Every so often, I think I know who they are. And then I see something that's like, no, it's definitely not them. So I honestly don't know. But they have been an awesome presence on the show. So definitely they rock. They rock. Everyone say thank you to the Banana Bread Company because they are just awesome. Holy banana bread. You guys get it. I love this. I love this job. You guys are awesome. All right. Jay saying goodbye, everyone. And Andrew saying thanks, Banana Bread. Yep, absolutely. All right, everybody. It's time. It's time to go off and maybe have some supper. I don't know. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We will be back here on Friday, and we're going to do this all over again as our gateway to the first weekend of October. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Until then, everybody, take care.